might slap.
Yeah,
This is so much more demeaning.
Well, it's like you
Slap him on the wrist.
Yeah.
you guys have been doing, like, you've been doing it, Charles, for like 11 years. You guys have been doing it for a while. You have too at this point. Like, do you think there's room for people to start and get big at this point still, or is
It's too
Absolutely.
late. No, you can't make it now. Sorry, we took all the
What he
subscribers.
said.
We took all this.
We have all of them.
We don't share.
You know, it's tougher now. Like, obviously,
Yeah.
yeah, you can. That's the great thing about YouTube.
I
Is
think
that
Mikey's
anybody
a
can
perfect
do it.
example. Like
Yeah.
he's younger. He's just now starting up.
I'm only 3 years in, and like even now, I know people that want to try, and it's like it's that, you know, if you were in the 1920s, you know, like silent film era, there weren't crazy amounts of actors, but now there's thousands and thousands of actors. The market just got bigger, so now it's, you know, in addition to it getting bigger, though, the audience got bigger. So why don't you just like, you know, you can capitalize on so many different things.
Mhm.
Why not?
If you think about being an artist or a creator, or somebody who has something, you know, to bring forth in the world, if you could just get 1,000 people that are willing to give you $100 a month, whether it's buying your merch, buying your tickets, supporting you on Patreon, that's $100,000 a year that you can make as an artist. And you don't need to have 1 million subscribers. You need to have 1,000 people who like what
It's
you
all
do.
about dedicated
Yeah.
followers,
So you
dedicated
can,
viewers.
yeah, I mean, you can do this for a living. You might not be, you know, super famous or whatever, but you can actually make a living creating things that you think are cool.
I think that's a
Yeah.
really big misconception about YouTube, is that you have to have 30 million subscribers to be, you know, wealthy or making a living. You could have a small amount, and just if you get that dedicated following, like you said, you have the Patreon, and then you have these people that are constantly, they buy your merch, they wear your shirts, and things like that, you're good. It's your job.
I think too, like it says in the movie, we didn't start this for money.
No.
Like the one of the main reasons we all started was to create and to connect and to have a voice somewhere, you know, on this new space. And I think that if you start that way and you put yourself out there in a way that you're proud of and happy about, like you're going to grow.
Yeah, if you start now to try to make money doing this, you're competing with the Walt Disney Corporation. You're competing with major networks. And you're competing with guys that have been doing it for 10 years every single day. Like, it's hard for me to sit down and say, like, here's how you do YouTube, because it's 10 years of daily, like, on your phone, on the website, just navigating around the site, knowing how to make an annotation, where to go to upload a video. Like, how do you do that? Like, that's just knowledge that we've gained from years of clicking and typing and just being in the space. So
It's severe dedication.
you can still do it, but if I was to start over again today, still retaining all the knowledge that I know about YouTube, but everybody forgot who I was, I think it'd be very tough for me to recreate the amount of success that I had, just because we were lucky enough to kind of be ahead of the curve, you know. But
Well, not only that, like you were all in. Like
it's people don't realize, like, oh, I can make a YouTube video.
went
Like,
all in.
you are working your
Yeah.
butt off
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, I was up
Live,
till
eat, sleep,
4
breathe
a.m.
it.
editing. and
You have to
still
eat,
not done. She's
sleep,
still
and
doing it.
breathe this. I mean, look, yeah, she's literally editing the video.
Because it has to be.
Yeah. So unless you're willing to go all in,
You have to go all in. You have
Yeah.
to sacrifice a lot.
it's a lot. It's more work than you think.
And you took a huge gamble too when
Yeah.
you guys moved to LA.
Well, we had nothing to lose,
Yeah.
right? We were broke, and so I was like, we'll just be more broke. You know, like, what's the big deal? I always told Colette, I said, we need $150 cash. That was about as much money as we would need to fill up the van 2.5 times to get from Los Angeles back to Idaho. And I knew that my parents would let me live with them. So I was like, as long as we have $150 cash, we can escape LA and get back to Idaho and not, like, die. So, yeah, it was a big risk, and, like, let's move
Plan
the
B.
family and start this
This
business.
is like Plan B. Plan B is good.
Well, I mean, you co-founded Maker, which is a gigantic success. You guys are all big successes. Like, so you must have sort of a plan or idea, like, what's next. You know, like, if it's not YouTube vloggers, if that space has been saturated, like, what is next, do you think?
It's live. To me, it's live streaming. And it could be, whether it's Facebook, Periscope, YouTube will have live streaming. I'm sure YouTube will have a very competitive live streaming that I'll definitely use. But to me, as the internet speeds up, the ability to transcend geographical boundaries and hang out with each other in real time is going to change everything.
Mhm.
You know, and with 360 cameras, virtual reality, and just the general overall speeding exponentially of the internet, the next 5 years are going to be science fiction.
Mhm.
Like, it's going to, It's gonna be cool.
How are you preparing for it? Are you starting to stream?
I pray a lot.
Watch a lot of Back to the Future.
Yeah, right.
See what Marty's,
Do your homework.
whatever
people.
Marty's doing.
You know, like in Men in Black, when they go get all the tabloids to get like the information about aliens, and everybody in real society thinks the tabloids are just bullcrap,
Yeah.
but that's like the real knowledge of what's going on in space. Like all the sci-fi movies before that were always like, oh, that's bullcrap. Like those are like scripture for what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the Matrix, Terminator, all that stuff. Do your homework, people. 'Cause it's
Robots are coming.
Exactly.
What would it take for you guys to not vlog anymore?
You'd have to cut my wrists.
You would figure out a way, honey.
It's hard not to. Like it's hard. It's such an addictive thing.
Honey, hold this for me.
I think it would be hard to
It-
stop.
It would
know,
be nice
it's-
to have breaks, but I think all of us, I don't think, me specifically, I don't think I'd ever stop.
Right.
I wouldn't feel comfortable not having a camera in my pocket because there's always something cool happening.
It's almost a scary question because sometimes you experience a moment and you're like, if I don't have my camera, it's almost not as good of a moment because I keep like, oh, I want to film this. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna see this. Like how lame. Like I want to share this. So it's almost like a moment is transcended once you can share it. You know, once you can like encapsulate that feeling for all time and eternity through video. There's something very addicting about that where it's like you immortalize a moment and you're always able to look back on it, and that's a memory, a sticking point. And I think that's why vlogging is so
Yeah.
addicting, is it gives you meaning, it gives you these good memories that you had. And so
Yeah, it's interesting because when you don't vlog, like when we're just like, oh, we're just gonna do this for ourselves, you know, like we're just gonna enjoy this moment. Then later it's like, why didn't we film that? I wish I could watch it again and
Yeah,
like relive it and feel that again. And that to me is like being able to watch my kids grow up is so amazing.
Yeah.
Being able to watch them as little baby Tard
Just,
and
just
like,
in the vlog of the movie itself, seeing Baby Tard as Baby Tard.
it's really amazing.
it's kind of therapy though too if you think about it, because if you're vlogging every day, in a sense you're living every day twice. You're actually living it, and then whenever you film, you're watching that, and you can't help but to learn to not use speech crutches. Like when you're editing yourself every day and you keep saying these dumb ums and uhs,
So
you start to see that in yourself, and you're like, shut up, Shay, quit saying that. And then you kind of change the way that you are. So it's almost therapeutic in the sense that you're learning about yourself as you watch yourself and edit yourself, and then you can kind of like create who you want to be more. So it's almost like you're doing your homework on yourself every night as you're watching and editing these videos.
Yeah, it's interesting that you ask, like, would you ever stop or whatever. I've noticed, like, Charles is still doing it every day, but, like, for us, we've kind of cut it down. And I notice if we go for a few days without making a video, it's like Shay needs to create.
I
Like,
get
he
anxious,
gets
yeah.
anxious and he feels, like, that need to create the videos.
If I go like 3 days without uploading a vlog, I like feel physiologically down. I'm like, upload a video. Like I feel like I just have this sense of like when a video goes live, I'm like, like it makes my whole day better. If I can get a video up before noon, I'm like, my whole day, I'm like, I'm successful. Like I got a video up today, you know, like there's something about that, I don't know.
Mhm.
Do you still have that feeling when a video goes live where it's like,
Well, my videos are just so like, you know, I make like that vlog style like sit down
Yeah,
vlog. And like every single video to me is like I finish it as like a masterpiece. To me.
Yeah.
yeah.
The way I edit, the way I put things together, and the way I, like, you know, a lot of my videos I sit down and plan first, and I have a shot list of what I want to do. And once it all comes together, and then I upload it, like I want to watch it again myself. 'Cause I
Yeah.
want to see what I did, and I feel so good about it.
It's funny to think that you plan it because
Yeah.
there's not been one video I've ever planned.
Yeah, right.
It just comes into a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
imports the
Yeah.
cluster?
I was watching you in the movie and how you were like planning everything. I was like,
Yeah.
he's really going in at it.
Yeah,
It's really good.
And I think it's because from the beginning I was like, I'm a filmmaker, so
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
gonna film this. Yeah, and I think like from, you know, I was like with him doing like the documentary, and we were talking about like what you guys are doing every day, and I was like, I want to do that, and I did it, but it took me 3 days to do it, just because
Right.
like I had to be a certain way, and I had
Yeah.
to execute
Yeah.
it. I had to plan things. I was like, I'm gonna do these things for the next 4 days. I'm gonna shoot all these things,
Yeah.
and like that was my vlog, just because everything has to be like figured out.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't do
The
it.
vlogs you did were super cinematic, like the,
Yeah, even
the
that
10,
was-
10 favorite things.
Oh,
Like,
really?
that must have taken 10 days to
Yeah,
make.
that was so long to
Beautifully
do.
shot, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for doing this.
No worries.
Thank you.
All right.